Very good evening to everyone. Welcome to Network Ethics. So today is the day two for our 5-known firewall compo demo day two for 5-known firewall compo training program. I hope you guys are attended our yesterday's demo session. So which is day one of 5-known firewall compo where we were discuss about the products which we are going to cover under this 5-known firewall compo. What are all the products we are going to cover, and we are going this batch we are going to, especially this batch, we are going to discuss with a FortiGate. We are start with a FortiGate firewall first, okay, in this 5-known firewall compo. So yesterday we were deep dive into the FortiGate firewall course curriculum. So what are the for under NSC 4? So we are going to cover NSC 4 in under FortiGate firewall, right? I mean Fortinet product. We are going to learn FortiGate firewall in under this NSC 4 curriculum. So NSC 4 curriculum, it's included two papers. One is FortiGate security and another one is FortiGate infrastructure, right? So we were discussed what is FortiGate security paper, what is in FortiGate infrastructure paper, and what are all. So after completion of this training program, what kind of certification so you can go for in a Fortinet environment, right? So that and all we was deeply discussed. And as along with that, what are all the other products? And in this 5-known firewall compo, we are going to cover in Palo Alto and Checkpoint for Cisco AS and FTD, all those, and what are the benefits to learn this 5-known firewall compo, right? So as a multi-vendor product, so why we need to learn a multi-vendor products and more than 2 3 firewalls. By if you're learning more than 2 3 firewalls, what is the part of the benefit you are going to have? All those stuffs we were discussed yesterday. So those who missed our yesterday's demo session, and if you are new to our today's demo session, if you're newly attended our demo session, then I'll share the recorded video link to access our recorded video of yesterday's demo session. So that would be helpful to you to understand so how our training flow and what are the content we are going to cover. Everything you can able to easily grab, and as well as after end of today's session, I will share the curriculum of each and every products as a document. So I'll share the curriculum document so you can refer, and that would be give a more idea about this course content what we are going to cover. Okay, so today, as I mentioned yesterday, today we are going to start some. We are going to do some. We are going to perform initial lab in a FortiGate firewall. Okay, so if you are getting a fresh FortiGate, since you guys are very new to this firewall products and very first time you are going to access the FortiGate firewall, right? So we are today as a when you're handling a new FortiGate firewall, so as an administrator, what we have to do and how to access the consoles through CLI and GUI, and what is how to access the console through telnet SSH, right? So that and all we are going to see, and along with that, we are going to explore your FortiGate firewall CLI console. What are the functions? I mean, what are the features we have in a FortiGate firewall in a GUI console? Okay, and in which specifically how to configure your data interfaces and where to. I mean, we are going to go with the exploration of your FortiGate firewall GUI console, especially today. Okay, and apart from that, in upcoming days in the live sessions, we are going to deep dive into the FortiGate firewall properly. Okay, and day by day. So these things, this information like about the Fortinet and what are the Fortinet products we have, right? So this session we already conducted as a demo, previous demo. So if you want to learn, know, so what are all the here in this slide I just mentioned about the Fortinet brand and when they were started and how they are growing in, and what is their market value, right? So along with that, what are the products they have, right? Everything I have mentioned in this. So that's link also I'll share with you for. And however, when we are going to discuss about the introduction to the Fortinet, so in your live session, so this things I'll cover so that uh, you can able to understand about the value of Fortinet portfolio and then Fortinet brand. Okay, so today I don't want to go with this. So today we are going to perform some lab with the FortiGate firewall and I mean, initially we are going to access the FortiGate firewalls. Okay, clear guys. And if you have any doubts, right? So if you have any doubts, I'll give you last 15 minutes since we have 1 hour only for a live demonstration, right? So I just want to cover the initial configuration first. So we will I'll give you the last 15 minutes for a Q and 10 to 15 minutes for a Q&A session. So there you can ask your queries regarding the training program. Okay, and and meanwhile I'll also give some info. So I hope that will fulfill your queries. If not, apart from that, like common queries like the course fee structure and then lab access and virtual lab and for a hands-on purpose, you right. So everything I will discuss meanwhile. Okay. So apart from that, if you have any queries, you can raise your hand and I'll give you can ask me. Okay. End of the session, last 15 minutes, we'll have a Q&A session, guys. Okay. So shall we go to the lab? Sorry, guys. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys. So for our today's lab purpose, we are going to use the tool called 𝑭𝒊𝒓𝒄𝒂𝒍𝒍. It's an emulated tool. Okay, so this is a sample topology which we are going to use initial days for your FortiGate firewall NAT mode deployment. Okay, so this is a FortiGate firewall. I'm having FortiGate Firewall 7.2, which is latest operating system of Fortinet brand. Okay, so FortiOS 7.2. So if you go for NSE4 certification, so you are going to write for NSE4 with a Fortinet of FortiOS 7.2 only. So here we are going to learn latest operating system of your Fortinet. Okay, so the operating system called FortiOS, which is used in a FortiGate firewall and Forti Manager and Forti Analyzer and Forti Mail. All are using this operating system only. The operating system name is FortiOS. Okay, so let's start this missions. So before that, so this is a virtual firewall, VM firewall. Okay, so in case if you are getting a fresh FortiGate hardware firewall in your hand, so you need your team asking you to configure your initial configurations before deploy your FortiGate firewall into the production network, right? So how to access your FortiGate firewall console very first time through CLI and GUI. So that we are going to for that we are going to do lab, right? So for that first you need to have some idea about the hardware information, like what is the management port, where do we have any dedicated management port, or what is the default access, that and all you need to know, right? So let me show you that. So this is the image of FortiGate firewall 240D model 240 firewall. Okay, we are going to give a data sheet of from basic hardware level, so which is starting from 40 FortiGate 30D. Okay, so from that we are going to see the configuration and then data sheets, full entire data sheets of high-end FortiGate firewall up to high-end FortiGate firewalls from basic level, basic model to high-end model. We are going to cover in a live session. So to show you how the hardware will be look like and what are how many ports will be there and which port we are going to access very first time and what is the default administrative access privileges and then management IP addresses, everything to show. For that purpose only I'm showing this image. Okay, so port number one, that is USB management. We have in a FortiGate firewall hardware model, we have a dedicated management interfaces. Okay, so we have a dedicated management interface and we have a dedicated WAN interface. Along with that, we have a dedicated LAN interfaces. So you can connect your WAN interfaces here. Port, sorry, that is port 3 is for a console port. I mean 5. Okay, number 5 denotes your WAN interfaces. Okay, number 6 denotes your LAN interfaces. Okay, sorry guys. And number one denotes it's a dedicated management interface. It's not a Ethernet interface. It's in a USB, and you can convert Ethernet to USB. You can use a converter Ethernet to USB, and you can use that port as a management interface. Okay, dedicated management interface. So and also we have a dedicated Ethernet management port. Sorry. Two is your Ethernet management port, RJ45 management port. So my pen is not working. Yeah. Okay. So this one is dedicated management port, which is Ethernet port, which is pre-configured with just a minute, guys. Guys, I'm audible now. Yep. Thank you, guys. Okay. So this dedicated management port, it's pre-configured with a management IP address by default. Okay. And along with that, you have a console port as well. Okay, you can just connect your rollover cable and you can open the direct CLI console by using compo. Okay, console port communications. Okay, so we do have a Ethernet management dedicated management interface. So in that scenario, you can access your console through HTTPS for a GUI and and then SSH for a tel CLI access. So that is enabled with SSH, and HTTPS is by default enabled services on this management interfaces. So HTTP is enabled for your GUI console access in FortiGate firewall. SSH is enabled for CLI console access. Okay, so so now normally in a console port you can use how we connect our Cisco router and switches direct console port, right? And access the CLI console without having any other protocol like Telnet or SSH for access to management purpose, right? So the same way we have a dedicated console port as well, and along with that we have one USB port where you can connect your pen drive and hard disk, so where you can take a backup through USB as well and collect the logs and you can segregate separate device with a USB option. So we have a USB port as well, and then dedicated management port, sorry, dedicated WAN interfaces. Also we have in a hardware, and dedicated LAN interfaces also we have in a hardware. Okay, and this is the front view of your FortiGate firewall. It's similar to all the models. So the number of ports will be either based on the hardware specification, I mean the range. So may either it's an entry level hardware or a high end level hardware, the number of ports will be reduced, and as well as the capacity of the ports, like gigabyte ethernet, 1 gig, 10 gig, or just I mean along with of ethernet, copper ethernet port and fiber ethernet port, right? So like that, the port might be varied. Okay, so and then capability of the device will be varied based on the hardware models. Okay, guys. So this is a front view of your FortiGate firewall, but the common things like management. Guys, I hope my screen is visible now. Sorry, I have slight internet drop is happen. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible to everyone as of now. Guys, am I audible? Guys, I'm really sorry. Today I have little internet frequent disconnection has happened. So I'm really sorry for this inconvenience. I hope it's visible right now and I'm audible. Okay. So yeah, thank you. So this is as I mentioned, this is your front view of your FortiGate firewall hardware information. So like where you can connect your Ethernet management port and console port, dedicated console port, and as well as you have some LED indicators about that ports, right? So in this is your front view, and the second one is your backside view of your FortiGate firewall about your power circuit, right? And cooler fans, right? And CPU and hardware informations. We have it. Okay. So thank you, Uday. And you can see that what are all this USB management port, set dedicated use Ethernet management port, and third one is console port. Fourth one is dedicated USB. So this by using this USB, you can separately you can take a backup by using USB option as well in your FortiGate firewall and backup with the configuration file, backup with the logs, all those things you can able to store it by connecting your external hard disk. So external storage systems, you can use it. Okay. And along with that, your WAN info, WAN dedicated WAN interface and LAN interfaces, port numbers, and that info, as I mentioned. Okay. So this is your front and back view of FortiGate hardware. So as I mentioned, so the number of ports and then capability of ports and the type of port, either it is a copper Ethernet port or it's a fiber Ethernet port, right? So and then capacity, right? So it's based on the hardware level and from the entry level to high end level that will be vary. Okay. So this hardware firewall, this dedicated as I mentioned, this hardware have dedicated management interface. So this dedicated management, what you have to do as an administrator, you have to connect this. You no need to nowadays we are not using any rollover cable to access the console because your 40 we have a dedicated management interface, Ethernet interface that is enabled with the HTTPS and SSH console. What we can do, just directly connect your management PC with your management port, right? So by using Ethernet connectivity, you no need to you no need to purchase rollover cable or any other uh, converters to use the console cables, right? So you can just simply directly connect your management PC and with your management port of your FortiGate firewall, and you can check the reachability. So this management interface, it's a dedicated predefined configuration it has. So that is IP address is 192.168. If it is a hardware model, it's only for hardware model, not for the virtual machines. Okay, VM models or cloud firewalls. Okay, so 192.168.1.99 is the default IP address on your management interface. Okay, 192.168.1.99/24. Okay, 192.168.1.99 is the default management interface. And what you can do, so just connect your management PC with your management interface of FortiGate firewall and assign the same network IP address, any one of the IP address from the same network 192.168.1.0/24 network. You can assign any IP address, and then both will be in the same network. And this management interface by default it is enabled with the services called ping SSH. Sorry. Okay, SSH, and then HTTPS. Okay, so when you're trying to check the reachability, all you need is you need a reachability between your management PC to your FortiGate firewall management interface, so that you can access the console by using GUI console or CLI console by using these services. For that, we need to check the reachability. For checking the reachability purpose only, we are using a ping, right? So here, by you after connect with the same management network from between your FortiGate firewall and your management PC, then you can check the reachability. If you have a reachability, then directly you can access the console, either CLI or GUI console, by calling this dedicated management interface IP address, guys. Okay. If you want to access the GUI console, you need a browser which supporting the HTTPS services. Okay, all right, right. And if you want to access the CLI console, you can use any application which is supporting the SSH services like Putty, right? So any application you can use it to access SSH CLI console, guys. Clear? So that is very much easy. And when you're accessing your FortiGate firewall, right? So it will ask you the credential. It will it will allow the right person only to access, the right administrator only to access the console, so that you can able to manage entire thing in your FortiGate firewall. So the credential must you need to give, right? So the default credential, it is coming with the default credential. The default username is, let me give a, so management IP 1 192.168.1.99. Okay, and then username, default username admin. Okay, all are small letters. And password, it will ask you the password, but by default there is no password, null. You no need to type any password, just directly hit empty space or enter. Okay, there is no password. Then it will allow you to access the FortiGate firewall GUI console or CLI console, whatever the uh, console type you are trying to access from. Either if you're accessing through HTTPS services, and it will provide the GUI access, and if you're accessing through SSH, and it will allow you to access the CLI console. Okay, so this is the default value. Default management IP is 192.168.1.99, and default credential are username is admin, password there is no password. Okay, guys. The same way, now we are going to use a virtual machines to access your FortiGate firewall. This is for the hardware models, so that is very much simple. You can just connect your FortiGate firewall management PC with your FortiGate firewall management interface, and you can use either HTTPS or either SSH to access the console. You based on the console type. Okay, and in case if you are working with the VM firewalls or virtual machines, right? So in that case, it is there is no dedicated management interface. It has only data ports. Okay, and by default you can use port one, any data port you can use as a management interface. Okay, but by default port one of your FortiGate firewall, this is the VM firewall, VMK64 model we are using it. Okay, so you can see that it go to edit here. So if you're not aware about this tool, if I'm using a for for a hands-on purpose right now, I'm using a 𝑭𝒊𝒓𝒊𝒄 tool. So I hope everyone is aware about this tool. If you are not aware, that's fine. I'll take a in a live sessions, I'll take how to create your own lab setup, how to install this 𝑭𝒊𝒓𝒊𝒄, how to access the console, everything I'll let you know. Okay, so no worries, guys. You can see this is a FortiGate 7.2 operating system I'm using it. It has totally 6 Ethernet ports right now. Okay, so we don't have any dedicated management interfaces, okay, in this device. Okay, so it's all our data interfaces. So by default, in the 6 data ports, port one only by default enable with a HTTPS. Okay, just HTTPS and SSH ping, these three services, and uh, okay, these three services are enabled. So you can, by default, you can use your port one as your um, port one as your management port, and as well as this port one is by default configured as a DHCP client. There is no dedicated management interface IP on this port one because it's not using dedicated IP. So that it, so port one only it's enabled, other ports are not enabled. Okay, and port one it's enabled as a DHCP client. So you have to if you in your production environment, if you have a DHCP server, it will get an IP address from the DHCP server, and then you, by calling that IP address, you can access the console. If not, so you have to change and you have to assign the IP address on the port one, and you have to set up the access level. Okay, then after that, you can call the either GUI console or CLI console. Okay, so in our scenario, we are going to do all those stuffs. Okay, so here, since port one is enabled with, you can, it doesn't mean you have to use only port one only for a management interface. Okay, you can use any data ports as a management interface, or any data ports you can accept the management services, and you can call the GUI console and CLI console of your FortiGate firewall by using any LAN WAN and DMZ interfaces, I mean data interfaces as well. So as an administrator, you have to enable that services on that port so that that port will support the management access. Okay, by default only management access is supported by port one, and rest of the ports are by default it is disabled. So you can enable that. Okay, so I'll show you how to enable, what which command you have to use to enable that services. Okay, so now, so we are going to use this port one as a management interface, so that I have connected this port one with my management switch with my management PC. So so I'm going to connect. So Redmi, wait to please come with your name, if, and along with it, please switch off your camera. Okay. So now we are going to assign the Ethernet port one and then management PC under same network. So since it's a DHCP client, right? So I'm going to assign manually static method. I'm going to assign the IP address on this port one. So the same network, I can decide what kind of IP address the network I'm going to use for the management purpose. So I'm using 192.168.10.0/24 network as a management network. Okay, so I'm going to assign the any one of the IP address from this network for my management port, which is port one as of now for the FortiGate firewall, and then any one of the IP address from this network for my management PC, from so that I can access the console of GUI console and CLI console of my FortiGate firewall in this port management through management PC, guys. Okay, so or through management network, any PC I can access the console. Okay, so so let me assign the first, let me assign the IP address for this machine from that management network. So this is a Windows machine I'm using. Sorry, this is my machine. So 192.168.10.100 I'm going to assign this machine. Okay, in /24 network. That's fine. So as of now, I don't want to assign any default gateway because I'm connecting with my management network only. I'm along beyond that. I'm not going to communicate right now. Okay. So any other network, I'm not going to communicate right now. Okay. So in future, I can able to configure. So now this is my management PC, right? So from this range, I need to assign any one of the IP address for my management interface of my FortiGate firewall. So here I'm going to assign 192.168.10.10 as my management interface IP for my FortiGate firewall. So in that case, you need to access the console. It's this is a virtual tool, right? So if you double click on this FortiGate firewall, it will directly open the console. Okay, not SSH or telnet, right? So here, like, sorry, I have chosen in this tool, I have chosen console type as it is telnet. Okay, so telnet or SSH. So you can use only this console type as a telnet. About this tool, I'll let you know how to use this. Okay, so as of now, I have chosen a telnet or SSH. So it will direct right now any port. We don't have any console access, right? So I'm not assigning the IP address and all. So if you double click, it will open your native console with the CLI console. It will open, guys. Okay, so right now you can see this is a CLI console. In the CLI console, it is asking see, it is asking for the login, right? Let me change the screen properly, increase the screen size so that it will give you the better visibility to you. Yep. Okay, so now what is the credential, guys? What is the default credential? So the default credential is applicable for your hardware model and VM model. Username is the admin, right? So username is the admin and password is, there is no password if it is a very fresh firewall. If you just type any fire password, okay, it won't allow you to log in because it's a fresh firewall. It doesn't have any password. Just give a username as admin and without any password. You can see it is forcing you to change the password to set the new password. So I'm going to set the password. Password is, again, I'm going to give password as admin and confirm password. So what you are typing in your screen, you are not able to see since it's a password. It's a secret thing, so it will not show you. So don't think. It is not typing like that. Okay. So now I have changed the password, and username is the admin, and password is for here I just given a simple password as admin. So whatever the password you are setting hereafter, if you want to access the console, the credential, when it will ask the credential, whatever the password you have set, right? So the credential you have set, that you have to use it, guys. Okay, so right now this is my CLI console of my FortiGate firewall, and right now I'm in a operational mode. Okay, so where you can execute the show commands, right? Where you can read your FortiGate firewall informations, right? So you cannot configure anything in this mode. So if you want to use the if you want to configure anything like interface configuration, IP assignment, this access level, right? The providing the access level or routing configuration, anything, you have to use a keyword called config before the command. So whatever. Okay. So right now I'm in operation mode, so I can just you execute the command like test command and test command like ping trace route, like that I can use it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, so I don't I have IP, I know my management PC IP address, but right now my management interface, which is port 1, doesn't have any IP address, right? So if you try to ping, It's not, since you don't have any IP address, it will not able to communicate with your destination. So first you have to change the IP address for your management interface, right? So for that, my so interface is the sorry. So system interface is the command to check out the your interface list, and you can see port 1, and what is showing that port 1 is set as a mode as a DHCP, and port 1 it's enabled with a HTTPS, SSH, HTTP, right, and FGFM protocol. So FGFM protocol, it's just like a Fortinet uh, devices communication protocol, which is like in Cisco we have a Cisco Discovery Protocol CDP, similarly FGFM. Okay, so it will use to communicate with the Fortinet brands, Fortinet products like Forti switch, Forti analyzer, Forti manager, FortiGate fire, other Fortinet products they can able to communicate. Okay, so by using FGFM, 40 switch, right? So as of now, this, if you look at that port 1, it's enabled with a DHCP client. So in your production network, if you have a DHCP server, and you will get a IP address. So this VM firewalls will use in a cloud environment most of the scenario, and in your production network also, testing environment will use it, right? So in that case, definitely we have a one DHCP server. So from that DHCP server, it will get the IP address, and since it is enabled with the all management access, so services, you can, by calling this IP address, you can access the console through CLI and GUI directly. So right now we don't have it, so we have to change the IP address statically, and then we are going to access the console, GUI console and CLI console through HTTPS, and then telnet or SSH services. Okay. And if you look at the other interfaces, port 2, it's not set anything, it doesn't have any IP address, or it doesn't have any allow access, right? So that's the reason I said previously, just use very first time, just use your port number 1 as your management interface, because that is only by default enabled with all management services. So that will make you give you this, I mean, that will make you simple thing access, simple things to access your consoles of your FortiGate firewall very first time, guys. Okay, so now I'm going to assign, I don't know what is the IP address to call my management console of my FortiGate firewall. So I need to assign the IP address from this 192.168.0 sorry, 10.0/24 network, right? As because as per our topology right now, we are having this IP address only as a this network only as a management network, right? So let me assign, sorry, this is your management PC, where it is. Yep. Sorry. So now just it's logged out. I'll try to log in. Username is, sorry, I thought it's logged out actually. It's not it. Okay. So now I'm going to assign the IP address for my interface 1, port 1, because that is only I have connected with my management network. So I need to do some configuration, right? So in a operation mode, you will not able to configure anything. For that, you need to you enter into the configuration mode, and in interface configuration mode, right? For that, you have to use the keyword called config system. Okay, sorry, config system interface. So right now I'm in interface mode, guys. Okay, so hereafter I can configure on my available data interfaces. So whatever, so for which interface you are going to configure, that interface you have to choose. So first, like in Cisco, we'll choose interface gigabyte Ethernet 0/1, 0/2, like that in a configuration mode. From configuration mode to enter into the interface configuration mode or global configuration mode, right? Similar way, right now we are in an interface mode, and which interface you are going to configure, that interface you have to choose, right? So to choose that interface, you have to use the keyword called edit. Okay, edit, I'm going to do some configuration changes on my ports interfaces. So here you have to choose. So if you give a question mark, right, space, and if you give a question mark, it will show you the what is your next command, right? Or what are all the interfaces you have in this device. So right, so you can see it is showing all this, right? So port 1, which is your DHCP, which is configured as a DHCP, and rest of the ports are, you can see it's configured as a static, right? And we now we have to change this port as a DH from DHCP to static. Then we have to assign the IP address. So which port you want to assign the IP address? Select that particular port. So just give the port number, edit port 1. Okay, and now you have to enter into the port 1. So just hit enter. Now I have entered into the port number 1 of my FortiGate firewall. Now here I can just configure whatever the IP assignment of in this interface, or I want to change the management access. Like I want to disable, I want to allow only ping and HTTP and ping or HTTPS only, or telnet, that whatever the management services, if you want to restrict or if you want to allow that, you can just enable and disable from this interface level, because we are enabling that services on this interfaces only. So you have to enter into the interface mode, and you have to choose the specific interface, which interface you are going to enable or disable, right? So or assign the IP address, changing the IP assignment mode, everything you have to go inside that particular interface. So now I'm going to assign the IP address, right? So let me assign the IP address set, right? Sorry. If you this is the command to assign the IP address, set IP, and just give your IP address and subnet mask. You can just give it as a slash value, okay, and it will be assigned the IP address. And if you are giving this command, now it will show you that it will throw the error. Okay, so set IP. What is your management network? 192.168.0.10, right, guys? Sorry, actually it is a 10.10, which 10.0/24 network, and 10.10 we just want to assign the IP address of your management interface, which is port 1 of your FortiGate firewall, and that is /24 network, right? So now it will throw some error, and because what is that? It's showing the IP assignment mode is a dynamic IP, so DHCP IP. So the you cannot statically assign the IP address until unless you are going to change the mode of your port 1 IP assignment. So now after enter into the configuration mode, and after choosing your particular interface, I mean after enter into the interface mode, and after enter into the after and enter into the specific interface, which interface you are going to configure. Now you have to check what is the mode of IP assignment. So right now I'm in a interface mode, right? So port 1. So I need to check what is the IP assignment, what are all the access everything we have already configured in this interface. So you can use the command called show. It will show you what is the IP, what is the access, allow access is given, management access is given on this interface, right? So that information you can verify here. So as of now, you can see that is interface IP assignment mode is mm, configured as a DHCP client, so that it is throwing that error. So first we need to change the mode. For that, you have to use the keyword called set mode. And then what is the mode? Static DHCP or triple PoE. Okay, right? So we are not able to, we don't have any triple PoE authentication right now. So we are not having ISP kind of thing. So we can just use static method as of now. Okay, so we need to assign the IP address, right? So just use, so triple PoE, it's a part of dynamic IP address only, right? So I don't want to go with that. I just want to assign the IP address with a static method. Okay, and hit enter. And now just use the command show to verify the configuration. Now what is showing that? It's not showing anything about the IP assignment mode, right? So previously the same command which when I have executed, so that time you can see shown set mode is DHCP, and now you can see it's not showing anything. Set type, right? And then allow access. That's it. It's not showing anything, which means so your interface configured as a DH from your it is changing to DHCP to static method. Okay, so now we have to assign the IP address. So this the you can execute the same command for the IP assignment, set IP, previously which used, right? Set IP, and what is the IP and subnet value? You can just give 192.168.10.10/24 network. And now, okay, now use the command show. Let's see what will happen. You can see now the IP is updated. Okay, so right. So now what you have to do? So you have to, the changes will be applicable when you're coming out from the interface mode. So now the changes are updated, right? So now go to your management PC and try to ping 192.168.10.10. Let's see what will happen. Sorry, it's a wrong IP. See, we have assigned the IP address 192.168.10.10 for your management interface, which is port 1 of your FortiGate firewall, right? And both are same network, 192.168.10.0/24 network only. My management PC and my FortiGate firewall management interface, both are connected with the same network, but still I'm not able to communicate, right? The reason, so as of now, we are not committed, we are not completed our configurations in your FortiGate firewall console. So we have to come out from the interface mode to complete your configuration. So the rest of configuration, whatever you did, automatically it will save. Okay. So just give the keyword called in to complete your, to come out from the interface mode to configuration mode. Okay, you can just use a keyword called end. Okay, now go to your management PC and let's see. As soon as I came out from the interface mode, right? And whatever the changes I have done, that is automatically updated. And now I got a reply from the 192.168.10.10 IP. Same from my management PC, which is having 190.168.10.100, and that can able to reach to your FortiGate firewall management interface 192.168.10.10. Clear, guys? Okay. So now what we have to do? Now I'm going to check the reachability from my FortiGate firewall to we are now, so we have a reachability, so you can access the console of your FortiGate firewall through either CLI through from, I mean, CLI GUI from your management interface, sorry, management PC, right? But still, I also want to execute the I also want to check the reachability from my FortiGate firewall to my management PC. So how to execute the ping? How to use the ping command? Here, let me just ping. You can see ping is not applicable. I'm not able to use the ping. If you use a ping, what is showing that? Phrase error before the ping, because the normal commands, I mean, as it is ping, you cannot use in this console, FortiGate firewall CLI console. Either if if you're taking a ping, I mean, if you're trying to ping, or you're trying to trace route, right? Or you're trying to take a backup, or right. So for that, you cannot use direct command, right? So what you have to do, you have to use the keyword called execute. Or if you want to reboot your machine, like, you cannot use a reboot and all. You have to use the keyword called execute. You are saying that please perform ping, what is your destination IP? 192.168.10.100. Now you can see I got a reply. Okay, you cannot use normal ping, just ping command directly in your FortiGate firewall to check the reachability. You have to use the keyword before the ping command. You have to use the keyword called execute. It's not only for the ping command, just common testing commands like trace route, and then uh, like reboot your hardware, right? Or reset your licenses, right? So that and all, for that you have to use the keyword called execute. Okay, clear? So now I have a reachability between my FortiGate firewall and my management PC. So now I can access the console of my FortiGate firewall from my management PC. So just go to your management PC. So Now to access the console, GUI console of your FortiGate firewall, you have to use browser. You need a HTTP, either HTTP or HTTPS services only you can able to access the console, right? And for that you need a browser. And let's try with the GUI console access from your browser. What is your management interface IP right now, guys? What is your management interface IP? And or what is the command to verify your management interface IP address? So system, okay, so system interface. So if you are using this command, it will show you all interface information. Okay, if you want to dedicatedly verify any specific interface, so you have to use the keyword. So interface, sorry, so system interface port 1, port 2, like that port you have to mention. So I just want to use the port 1. And what is your management interface? 190.160.10.10. Okay, so now go to here, 192.168.10.10. By calling your 10.10 IP address of your FortiGate firewall management interface, and you can see we got the console of your FortiGate firewall, I mean GUI console, and it is asking the credential, guys, right? It's asking the credential. So what is the credential? Username is admin. What is the password? So whatever we have changed, I have changed as a admin. Okay, I have set the new password as admin. So given I have given the credential now, and you can see we are enter into the GUI console very first time. So it is asking you to set up all necessary configurations to complete uh, to show the proper GUI console access. Okay, so if you want to assign the I mean the password has been changed, so there is no issue. And upgrade firmware is already updated firmware only we are using it. There is no issue. And dashboard or host name, if you want to change it, you can change it. Okay, so host name and dashboard setup is not yet completed. So if you want to do, you can do it here, or if you want to do it later, it will give you the uh, console access directly. But I just want to give you, I mean, I just want to complete the ba basic things directly. Just begin here. And if you want to use a default host name, which is FortiGate VM model 64 KVM model. So if you want to use that, you can use it. Or if you want to give your host name, let's say I just want to give a name as a NE firewall. Okay, NE firewall 1. Okay, so that is my host name. And then just click OK. Now host name is changed. So now it is coming to the dashboard setup. So so here you can see it is asking you to choose the option optimal option or comprehensive view. So if you're using a comprehensive view, and optimal means uh, it you can just have some limited features. So if you're using a comprehensive, so it will show you the all features almost. Yep, Kyosi, you can just no worries. Okay, it's demo session only. Okay, 16th onwards only we are going to start a FortiGate directly. Okay, so you can join that. I'll repeat this. Okay, you have already enrolled, right? So this is same timing only, 8:30 to 9:30. Okay, if you want, you can leave. So the difference between the optimal view and comprehensive view. So comprehensive view, you can able to see some more information in your dashboard. Okay, so I just want to go with a comprehensive view so that you can able to see all the under dashboard. You can see some most of the monitoring features, everything. Okay, so I'll just want to go with a comprehensive. or what is the difference between the optimal and comprehensive, we will see in our upcoming live sessions. Okay, as of now, I just want to show you the console, GUI console of your FortiGate firewall. What are the features we have, and right, what is the use of that? So I just want to show that. So I'll let me go with a comprehensive view, guys. Just click OK, and almost my setup is completed. Here you will get one video guidance. So the what are the new features is added in a 7.2 operating system, so that it will show you. Okay, so if you want, you can just play this video and you can come to know that, and all the features. I'm also going to give you the information in live sessions, right? So if or if either you can just read yourself, or so I can also show you. Okay, so fine, it's fine. So it's not able to load the videos, and because of bandwidth issue. Okay, so today I have little bit, I'm having a internet speed issue, so that's the reason. That's fine. So just click OK and go with the console of your FortiGate firewall, which is FortiOS 7.2. Okay, so this is the FortiGate firewall GUI console, guys. Okay, which is one of the very simplest console. Okay, and comparatively than any other firewalls. Okay, one of the simplest. FortiGate firewall and Palo Alto consoles are one of the simplest and easily understandable console. Okay, so I'll give you the information. And first thing, so it should be like this. So under dashboard, you will have some of the menus. Okay, so this dashboard is used to verify the monitoring features. Okay, it will show you the monitoring information. So like what are the source are connected right now, what are the destinations are connected now, that information it will show you. Right now we don't have anything. Okay, so because we don't have any data flow inside your FortiGate firewall right now, so that it's showing all this information as an empty value. Okay, so what are the live sessions you have, so which is initiated, what is the source, it initiated that session, what is the destination, and what are the widely used applications right now in your live traffic flow, and likewise what are the websites you have seen in this live traffic, right? So all this information under this dashboard you can able to see. So if when you're seeing the live when your FortiGate firewall, it's taking a live traffic flow. So right, it's handling the live traffic flow. So at that time you can able to see this informations. Okay, Sayed, it's fully from beginner level to advanced level FortiGate firewall up to NSC 4. You're going to learn full about FortiGate firewall. Okay, from the scratch to advanced level, you can end to end you can know how to manage your FortiGate firewall. Okay, yes, all the comp. It's starting from the basics to advanced level. So I'll give you the yesterday's demo session recorded video. So where we have deeply discussed about the course content. So that will definitely helpful to you. Okay. So come back to our session. So here you can, so in this thread, FortiView thread dashboard, so it will show you any recently identified thread informations. Okay, and as a log, it will show you here. Likewise, the widely used policies in a live traffic. Okay, and what is the live session information and routing. Okay, so your routing table info, right now we have only one route, that is for your management network. Okay, we don't have any other routes in this device. So likewise, whatever the routing table, what about your routing table info, it will show you here. And likewise, if you are enable DHCP services in your firewall, so those who are all connected, any DHCP clients is connected with your firewall, right? So that information you can able to see here. Likewise, if you are enable SD-WAN, so SD-WAN interface details, like what are all the interfaces are enabled under SD-WAN, and what are about the SD interfaces quality, like latency, jitter, and which interface is handling more traffic, right? So that statistics it will show you here under SD-WAN monitor. Likewise, if you are having an IPsec VPN. If you're connected with IPsec VPN in your FortiGate firewall, so what is the tunnel IPsec live tunnel information, whether the tunnel is enabled, I mean up state or down state, how long it is up, and how much of data is transmitted or received in this tunnel, right? So your how many gateways you have, right? So everything it will show you here. So likewise for SSL VPN monitor, so that information it will show you here. And user, for any user is connected, remote users, to authenticate your firewall, right? So as well as the any user group, right, through remote user management system like LDAP. And if you're integrated Active Directory server, right, so who is connected right now, all those information it will show you in this firewall user monitor feature. Likewise 40 client, this is about SSL VPN as well. Okay, 40 client, how many of the users are connected, that information also it will show you here. So this is the dashboard. So you can just get the information. So about each and every features. Okay, so what is the widely used policy, all those information. Okay, it's just like a widget. So it will give you the information. Here you are not going to configure anything. It's just a monitoring features. Okay, so after that, we have another menu called network where you're going to configure your data interfaces. Like you can see. So here the interface details. Here you can configure your data interfaces. You can see which the interface we have configured. IP and other interfaces are not configured. Likewise, your DNS. If you want to configure DNS settings here itself. Okay. So you want what is your primary DNS and secondary DNS, right? So if you have a local DNS server, so that and all you can able to configure here. Likewise, under network only SD-WAN implementation you are going to do. So how to integrate SD-WAN and how to set up the uh, the criteria to choose the best interfaces and monitor which criteria you're going to use to monitor the interfaces, which means the service level agreement, performance SLA, right? And what are the traffic you are going to pass through SD-WAN, that rule you can able to create, right? So that and all you are going to do under network only. Likewise, the routing information, static route and dynamic routing protocols, if you want to enable everything, you are going to configure under network, all under network menu, guys. Likewise, if you want to configure policy, object, NAT, rule, right? So everything you are going to configure under policy and object. So firewall security policies and objects, if you want to create as a IP address, okay, and service as a object, right? And address as a object. So you can create here. So policies, this is the policy menu where you are going to create a security root. Okay, right? So I just give you the overview. So all the features we are going to implement one by one in a live session. So this is the security profiles, next generation firewall features. Like if you want to do deep scan with your virus, malware, spyware, and if you want to block any specific website, or if you want to block any specific application, and if you want to block any specific file, if you want to block or allow any specific data, sensitive information, data leakage protection features, right? And that and all you are going to enable under security profiles. You are going to activate, this is your IPS functionalities, DNS filter, application control, URL filter, file blocking, right? So all those things you are going to configure under security profiles. So if you want to configure a VPN details like SSL VPN, IPsec VPN, you are going to configure under this VPN menu, right? So if you want to create a firewall administrator user accounts, or if you want to manage remote user management systems, right? If you want to integrate any servers, right? Everything you are going to do here. And if you want to integrate your Active Directory server, AD server, right? So you are going to integrate from user and authentication menus. Likewise, you can create a users locally as well and authenticate from locally by using firewall itself. Okay, so that and all you are going to do under here. So FSSO, when we are going to do Active Directory integration, so that time we'll use FSSO, LDAP integration, LDAP servers, right? So that and all we are going to do, we are going to configure under here, guys. So any device wise setups like taking a creating a new admin user account, taking a backup, high availability management wise, right? So to create a new admin privileges, profiles, access level, to restrict the access levels to the new administrators, right? So create a new admin user account, all those things you are going to do under setups, under system, guys. Okay, system, which is configuring your device administrative purpose, management purpose, like, right? And then under security fabrics, so if you want to integrate any other Fortinet products or any other third party external application or products to enhance your infrastructure security, so that you are going to integrate under security fabrics. Okay, so okay, so, and if you want to do automation stitches, like if you want to configure the automated features, task like taking a backup and then configurations, any specific configuration through automation stitches, I mean, through automated scripts. So that and all you are going to do under security fabrics only, guys. Okay, and then logs and reports. So if you want to take a report or log, if you want to change the log settings, right, uh, right, everything you are going to do under log and report, like live traffic information, whatever the information you are getting under a dashboard, right? So few of the information under dashboard. So IPsec monitor, SSL VPN monitor, right? So, and then live session application, destination source information, website thread information. So that information you can see under logs. So what if you are enable the logs, so that will be visible here as well. So you can along with that you can capture the packet as well. Okay, all those things, enabling logging and take a report and analyze the log, capture the packet, right? So all those stuff, so you are going to do under log and report feature, guys. Okay, so this is the menu. I mean, this is the FortiGate firewall GUI console, guys. Okay, I just give you the overview. What are all the menu we have and what is the purpose of these menus? Okay, and how to configure, how to enable the interfaces, how to enable, how to configure the policy, how to utilize all the features which is available in your FortiGate firewall to prevent your infrastructure, right? So by using that FortiGate firewall, everything we will see day by day session in your live session. Okay, so okay, yes. So now what I'm going to do, I just, what is the time now? Almost, okay, time is over almost. So I just want to and show you how to take a console CLA. And now we have taken a console of GUI from your management PC. So I want to I'm going to take a console of CLA from management PC itself. Okay, so if you want to take a console of CLA, you need a application, either tell either putty or the application which support the. I can access the CLA console through Telnet and SSH, right? So as of now, I'm going to take a Telnet of my FortiGate firewall from my management PC. Right now, I'm in a management PC only, right? So which is having 192.168.10.100 IP. So from that machine, I'm going to take a telnet of my FortiGate firewall management console 192.168.10.10, and you can see connection type I have chosen a telnet and try to open. Okay, okay, it's refused. Okay, fine. So let me try to take a SSH first. 192.168.10.10. Okay, I think we are, so both the connections are refused from your device. So now, yes, we have already accessed this console. Let me exit. So let's check first. Let me check the CLI. So sorry, admin again. So interface, sorry, system interface port 1 set allow accesses. Okay, see, as of now, telnet is not enabled in this machine, and SSH is enable, right? So let me enable once again with the allow access. So set. So now what we have to do, config system interface and edit port 1, because I know I want to enable the allow access of telnet in my FortiGate firewall. Set allow access telnet SSH ping HTTP. Okay, all those service. Just end. I have saved. Okay, now what I mentioned. So I just mentioned in this interface, please accept telnet service. If you want, if any administrator, if any administrator try to take a telnet of console access through telnet or SSH, please accept that. That's what we mentioned here in this command. We just enable this feature services on your management interface, which is port 1. So now go to your management PC. Before that, just verify. Okay. 192.168.10.10. Telnet try to access. Now you can see, yes, I got it, right? So now change the settings. Appearance. Okay, so it's become inactive. Again, telnet 192.168.10.10. Okay, yes, just expand and first log in with that. Username is the admin, password also admin. Now you can see right now I'm in a FortiGate firewall CLI console through telnet access. So clear guys. So likewise you can configure your interfaces and you can set the allow access on your other interfaces as well guys. So uh, so system interface port 1. Okay. So now what I have done, so I have done the configure my initial. I have done the initial setup on my FortiGate firewall. Okay, so I have set the IP address on my management interface, and now I have accessed the console of FortiGate firewall CLI and GUI. And also today we have explored our how the FortiGate firewall GUI console will be there, or what are the menus we have. Okay, so that's we did. Okay, so I hope it's clear to everyone, right? So in detailed manner in further about your GUI console access and then other features, how to enable other configuration and troubleshooting, everything we'll do it and on your live session guys, upcoming live sessions. Okay, so due to time concern I just want to wind up here. Okay, so any queries guys?